The lights of a debate stage blazed like spotlights on a battlefield, illuminating two women poised for war. Congresswoman Jasmine Crockett, the fiery Texan known for her unyielding pursuit of justice, and Ivanka Trump, the polished heiress whose smile had a lifetime of calculated defenses. In a nation fractured by secrets and scandals, this showdown promised to expose the raw underbelly of power, starting with a family's most guarded truth. As the audience held a collective breath, Jasmine leaned into her microphone, her eyes locking onto Ivanka's with the intensity of a prosecutor unveiling her case. "Tonight, we strip away the facade," she declared, her voice echoing through the hall. "No more hiding behind wealth or whispers. The truth about the Trump legacy starts now." The debate stage was set for a discussion on economic policy, but the air crackled with unspoken tension. "I'm looking forward to this conversation," Ivanka said, her voice dripping with false pleasantness. "Though I'm not sure what a congresswoman from Texas knows about real economic development." The moderator's eyebrows rose. The debate hadn't officially started yet. Jasmine didn't flinch. "I know enough to recognize when someone's credentials are built on family connections rather than actual achievement." The audience murmured. This was going to be more than a policy debate. "Careful, Congresswoman," Ivanka said, her smile tightening. "You might want to think before you attack someone in my position." "Your position?" Jasmine asked. "And what position is that exactly?" "Former advisor to a president, daughter of a controversial figure, someone who profited from government connections while pretending to be a businesswoman." Ivanka's face hardened. "At least I built something. What have you built besides a reputation for making inflammatory statements?" "I've built a career serving my constituents," Jasmine replied calmly, "without the benefit of a famous name or inherited wealth. Everything I have, I earned." "How noble," Ivanka said, sarcasm thick in her voice. "The self-made woman. Except you're only here because you play identity politics better than anyone else." The insult hung in the air. The moderator tried to intervene, but Jasmine held up her hand. "We can do this dance if you want," Jasmine said, her voice steady. "We can trade insults and see who comes out looking worse. Or we can have a real conversation. Your choice." Ivanka leaned back in her chair. "I'm not worried about looking worse. I have nothing to hide." "Don't you?" Jasmine asked quietly. Something in her tone made Ivanka pause. "What's that supposed to mean?" Ivanka asked, her confidence wavering slightly. Jasmine shuffled her papers, pulling one particular folder to the top. "It means that people who claim to have nothing to hide usually have the most to protect." "If you have something to say it directly," Ivanka demanded. "All right," Jasmine said. "Let's talk about your brother." Ivanka's expression froze. "Barron has nothing to do with this debate." "Doesn't he?" Jasmine asked. "He's been in the news quite a bit lately. His interview, his breakdown, his questions about family history." "You haven't commented on any of it because it's a private family matter," Ivanka said. "Is it?" Jasmine pressed. "When your family has made everyone else's private matters public. When your father spent years questioning other people's family histories, their legitimacy, their right to exist in public life." "That's different," Ivanka said. "It's always different when it's your family," Jasmine observed. "That seems to be the Trump family motto. Different rules for us." Ivanka's jaw clenched. "You're deflecting from the actual issues we're supposed to discuss." "Am I?" Jasmine asked. "Because it seems to me that character and integrity are pretty fundamental issues when we're talking about leadership and economic policy. And your family's character has some serious questions surrounding it right now." "There are no questions," Ivanka insisted. "Then why did Barron break down on television asking those exact questions?" Jasmine asked. "Why did he demand DNA tests? Why did he question his own mother's legitimacy?" "He was manipulated," Ivanka said, repeating the family talking point. "By whom?" Jasmine asked. "By his own doubts, by the contradictions in the stories he's been told his entire life. by the realization that his family might not be what they claim to be. Ivanka stood up. I don't have to listen to this. Sit down, Miss Trump, the moderator said. We agreed to a full debate. Not if she's going to attack my family, Ivanka said. I'm not attacking your family, Jasmine said. I'm asking questions. The same questions your family has asked of others. If they're legitimate questions when you ask them, they're legitimate questions when I ask them. Ivanka remained standing, her hands gripping the edge of the podium. What do you want from me? The truth, Jasmine said simply. About Barron, about your family, about the narratives you've constructed. Ivanka slowly sat back down, her composure returning, but her eyes wary. I don't know what you think you know. I know quite a bit, Jasmine said, opening her folder. I know that your brother's questions weren't just about your stepmother's immigration status. They went deeper than that. They touched on something more fundamental. You're speaking in riddles, Ivanka said. Am I? Jasmine pulled out a document. Let me be more direct then. Barron asked about DNA testing. He wanted to verify his mother's identity, but that's not really what he was asking about, was it? Ivanka's face went pale. I don't know what you mean. I think you do, Jasmine said. I think you know exactly what I mean. The question wasn't just about Milane being his mother. The question was about whether the entire story of his parentage is accurate. The room went completely silent. Even the moderator seemed too shocked to intervene. That's insane, Ivanka said, but her voice lacked conviction. Is it? Jasmine asked. Because I've been doing some research. Timelines that don't quite add up. Medical records that seem incomplete. Birth announcements that came later than they should have. Little details that individually mean nothing, but together paint an interesting picture. You have no proof of anything, Ivanka said. Don't I? Jasmine asked. She held up another paper. Hospital records from the time of Barron's birth, or rather the curious absence of certain hospital records. No birth certificate filed in the usual time frame. No attending physician listed in public documents. Nothing that would typically be part of a standard birth record. Ivanka's hands were shaking now. Records get sealed for privacy reasons, especially for high-profile families. True, Jasmine acknowledged. But usually there's still some paper trail, some evidence that a birth occurred where and when it was claimed to have occurred. In Barron's case, there's remarkably little. What are you suggesting? Ivanka asked, though her tone suggested she already knew. I'm suggesting, Jasmine said carefully, that the narrative around Barron's birth and parentage might not be the complete truth. I'm suggesting that there might be reasons why Barron himself is questioning his origins. I'm suggesting that your family might be hiding something significant. Ivanka stood again, her chair scraping loudly against the floor. You can't just throw around accusations like that without evidence. You're right, Jasmine agreed. So, let me tell you about the evidence I have. Jasmine spread several documents on her podium, visible to the cameras. These are medical records obtained through legal channels. They show that Milane Trump was admitted to a hospital in New York on the date Barron was supposedly born, but the record shows she was discharged after only 6 hours. No mention of childbirth. No mention of a newborn. Just a brief stay for what was described as minor treatment. Those records are fake, Ivanka said desperately. They are certified copies from the hospital, Jasmine said. They have all the proper seals and signatures. If they are fake, then someone at that hospital committed fraud. Would you like to make that accusation officially? Ivanka opened her mouth, then closed it. Then there are the photographs, Jasmine continued. She held up several printed images. Photos of Milano from the weeks leading up to Barron's birth. In some of them, she appears quite pregnant. In others, taken just days apart according to the timestamps, she appears significantly less pregnant. The inconsistency is remarkable. Photo angles can be misleading, Ivanka said weakly. They can, Jasmine agreed. But when you have dozens of photos over several months and the timeline of the pregnancy doesn't match the visual evidence, it raises questions. Questions your brother was trying to get answered. Ivanka sank back into her chair, her face ashen. Why are you doing this? Because your family built a political movement on questioning other people's legitimacy, Jasmine said. On demanding proof of citizenship, of birth, of belonging. Your father spent years claiming Barack Obama wasn't really born in America. He demanded documents, records, proof. And when that proof was provided, he still didn't accept it. So now I'm applying that same standard to your family. And the difference is the questions I'm raising actually have substance behind them. You're trying to destroy us, Ivanka said. I'm trying to hold you accountable, Jasmine corrected. There's a difference. The moderator finally found her voice. Congresswoman Crockett, these are serious allegations. Do you have definitive proof of what you're suggesting? I have enough proof to warrant further investigation, Jasmine said. I have enough inconsistencies to justify the questions. And I have a family that's refusing to provide clear answers, which is particularly interesting given how often they demanded clear answers from others. Ivanka tried to gather herself, to find the composure that had served her so well in countless business meetings and political events. You're basing all of this on circumstantial evidence and speculation. Your father based his entire birth of conspiracy on less, Jasmine pointed out. At least I have actual documentation, actual inconsistencies in the public record. He had nothing but racism and political calculation. Don't make this about race, Ivanka said. It's always been about race, Jasmine replied. Your family's entire political brand has been built on othering people who don't look like you, who don't have your background, who don't fit your narrow definition of American. And now, when those same tactics are turned on you, suddenly it's unfair. Suddenly, it's an attack. Because it is an attack, Ivanka insisted. No, Jasmine said firmly. It's accountability. It's the application of equal standards. It's asking why your family should be exempt from the scrutiny you impose on everyone else. Ivanka's voice rose. My brother is going through a difficult time. He's confused and vulnerable, and you're exploiting that for political gain. Your brother is going through a difficult time because he's discovering that the stories he's been told his entire life might not be true, Jasmine said. That's not my doing. That's a result of whatever deceptions your family has been maintaining. There are no deceptions, Ivanka said, but the words sounded hollow, even to her own ears. Then explain the medical records, Jasmine challenged. Explain the photographs. Explain why your stepmother was in and out of the hospital in 6 hours on the day your brother was supposedly born. Explain why there's no standard birth certificate filed in the usual public records. Explain the inconsistencies. Ivanka's mind raced, searching for explanations that would sound plausible. Wealthy families often have private arrangements, home births, private doctors, things that don't show up in public records. True, Jasmine acknowledged. But your father was a public figure even then. The birth of his son would have been news. There would have been announcements, documentation, something. And there is something, just not enough, just fragments that don't quite fit together properly. You're reading conspiracy into normal privacy measures, Ivanka said. Am I? Jasmine asked. Or am I seeing what Barron saw? The gaps in the story that don't make sense. The questions that never get answered satisfactorily. Ivanka stood again, pacing behind her podium. Even if there were irregularities, and I'm not saying there are, what would it matter? Barron is my brother. He's part of our family. The details of his birth are nobody's business. Except your family made everyone else's details their business, Jasmine said. You can't have it both ways. You can't demand transparency from everyone else while hiding behind privacy when it comes to your own family. What do you want? Ivanka asked, her voice breaking slightly. What do you want me to say? I want you to tell the truth, Jasmine said. Whatever that truth is. I want you to give your brother the answers he's looking for. I want you to stop hiding behind deflections and attacks and actually address the questions. I can't, Ivanka whispered. The admission shocked everyone in the room. The camera zoomed in on her face, catching the moment of vulnerability. Why can't you? Jasmine pressed gently. Ivanka looked up, tears glistening in her eyes. Because I don't know the truth myself. Not all of it. There are things I've been told, but I've never questioned them. I've never asked for proof. I just accepted what I was told because they're my family. The honesty was stunning. The audience sat in absolute silence. The stage lights seemed to dim as Ivanka's confession hung in the air, a crack in the unbreakable Trump armor that no one had expected. Jasmine, sensing the shift, pressed forward with calculated empathy, knowing this was a moment where facades crumbled and truths emerged. "Then maybe it's time to ask those questions," she said, her voice a steady anchor in the storm of revelations. "Not for me, not for the media, but for Barron. He deserves to know the truth about his own identity." Ivanka's eyes darted to the audience, the weight of their judgment pressing down like an invisible force. "And if the truth is complicated?" Ivanka asked, her voice trembling. "If it's not the simple story we've told, what then?" "Then you deal with it honestly," Jasmine said. "You acknowledge the complexity. You stop pretending everything is simple and clear-cut. You admit that families are messy and complicated, and sometimes the stories we tell aren't complete." Ivanka wiped at her eyes, smearing her carefully applied makeup. "You don't understand what you're asking. If these questions get pursued, if investigations happen, if the truth comes out, whatever that truth is, it could destroy everything. My father's legacy, our family's reputation, Barron's sense of who he is." "Barron's sense of who he is already destroyed," Jasmine pointed out. "Is already questioning everything. The damage is done. The only question now is whether you're going to help him find real answers or keep hiding behind lies." Ivanka collapsed back into her chair, her carefully maintained facade completely shattered. "I don't know how to help him. I don't know where the lies end and the truth begins. I've been part of this family my whole life, and I'm just now realizing how much I don't actually know." "What do you know?" Jasmine asked, her tone encouraging yet insistent. Ivanka looked at the cameras, then at Jasmine, then at her hands folded in her lap. "I know that my father is a complicated man who doesn't always tell the truth. I know that appearances have always been more important than reality in our family. I know that we've all learned to present a certain image regardless of what's happening behind the scenes." "And Barron?" Jasmine prompted. Ivanka's voice dropped barely above a whisper. "I remember when he was born, or when we were told he was born. Melania was in the hospital, but it was all very rushed, very private. More private than my father's other children's births. I remember thinking it was strange at the time, but I didn't question it. Nobody did, or if they did, they kept their questions to themselves." "What made it strange?" Jasmine asked, leaning in. "Everything," Ivanka said. "The timing, the secrecy, the way my father insisted on controlling every detail of the announcement. Usually, he loved publicity. He loved showing off. But with Barron, it was different, more controlled, more careful." "As if he was hiding something," Jasmine suggested. "I don't know," Ivanka said honestly. "Maybe, or maybe he just wanted privacy for once. I want to believe that. I want to believe the simple explanation. But after Barron's interview, after seeing how much he's questioning, I can't help but wonder." Jasmine leaned forward. "What do you wonder?" Ivanka looked up, her eyes red and swollen. "I wonder if Barron is right to question. I wonder if there's something we've all been missing. I wonder if my brother's identity is exactly what we've been told it is." The room erupted. The moderator tried to restore order, but the damage was done. Ivanka Trump had just publicly admitted that she had doubts about her own brother's parentage. Ivanka seemed to realize what she had said. "Wait, I didn't mean. You're saying you have doubts," Jasmine said firmly. "You're saying that your brother's questions aren't crazy. You're saying that there might be something to investigate." "I'm saying I don't know," Ivanka said desperately. "I'm saying that maybe none of us know as much as we thought we did." "Then let's find out," Jasmine said. She pulled out another document. "I have here a request for DNA testing. Not just to confirm Melania as Barron's mother, but comprehensive testing. Testing that could answer all the questions about Barron's biological parentage." Ivanka stared at the paper. "You can't force that." "I'm not forcing anything," Jasmine said. "I'm offering a way to get answers. If your family has nothing to hide, if Barron's parentage is exactly what you claimed, then the testing will confirm that. It will put all the questions to rest." "And if it doesn't?" Ivanka asked. "Then you'll know the truth," Jasmine said. Whatever that truth is, isn't that better than living with doubt? Ivanka reached for the document, then pulled her hand back. My father would never agree to this. Why not? Jasmine asked. If there's nothing to hide, why would he object? Because he objects to everything that challenges his control, Ivanka said. Because he can't stand being questioned. Because admitting any uncertainty would be seen as weakness. So, he'd rather leave his son in doubt. Jasmine asked. He'd rather have Baron questioning his entire identity than admit to any possibility of complexity in the story. Ivanka didn't answer. The answer was obvious. That's what you're protecting, Jasmine said. Not the truth, not your family's integrity. You're protecting your father's ego. You're protecting his need to control every narrative, even if it means sacrificing your brother's peace of mind. It's not that simple, Ivanka protested weakly. It's exactly that simple, Jasmine said. You have a choice. You can continue protecting the lies and the secrets, or you can help your brother find the truth. You can't do both. Ivanka picked up the DNA testing request form, her hands trembling. If I agree to this, if I push for this testing, it could tear my family apart. Your family is already torn apart, Jasmine pointed out. Baron is questioning everything. Your stepmother is offering to provide documentation. Your father is desperate to keep control. The tearing has already happened. The question is whether you're going to help put it back together honestly or try to maintain the fiction. You make it sound so easy, Ivanka said. It's not easy, Jasmine acknowledged. It's probably the hardest thing you'll ever do. But it's necessary for Baron, for the truth, for the principle that no family should be above accountability, including yours. Ivanka looked at the form again. What exactly would this test show? It would show biological relationships, Jasmine explained. It would confirm whether Milana is Baron's biological mother. It would show whether your father is his biological father. It would answer the fundamental questions about who Baron is. And if the answers aren't what we expect, Ivanka asked, then you'll deal with that reality, Jasmine said. But dealing with a difficult reality is better than living with a comfortable lie. Always. Ivanka set the form down on her podium. I need to think about this. You've had plenty of time to think, Jasmine said. Baron is suffering right now. Every day you delay is another day he spends in uncertainty and pain. He's not the only one suffering, Ivanka said quietly. This whole situation is destroying all of us. Then end it, Jasmine urged. Make the choice to pursue the truth. Be the one in your family who finally chooses honesty over image. Ivanka looked out at the audience, at the cameras, at the faces watching her make this decision in real time. If I do this, there's no going back. There's already no going back, Jasmine said. Baron's interview changed everything. These questions are now public. They're not going away. The only choice you have is whether you're going to be part of finding the answers or part of continuing the cover-up. Ivanka stood up, the form clutched in her hand. You've cornered me. You've given me no way out. I've given you a path forward, Jasmine corrected. Whether it feels like a corner or an exit depends on what you're trying to protect, the truth or the lie. Why do you even care? Ivanka asked, why does this matter to you so much? Because your family has spent years making other people prove their legitimacy, Jasmine said. You've demanded birth certificates and documentation and proof of belonging from people who had every right to be here. You've questioned identities and origins and families. And now when those same questions are applied to you, you want to act like it's persecution. I care because equality means everyone gets held to the same standard, including especially the powerful. Ivanka looked at the form again. If I sign this, if I agree to push for this testing, my father will disown me. Maybe, Jasmine said, or maybe he'll respect you for finally standing up for something real, for finally choosing truth over loyalty to lies. You don't know my father, Ivanka said with a bitter laugh. I know enough, Jasmine replied. I know he demands absolute loyalty. I know he punishes anyone who challenges him. I know he's built his entire life on controlling narratives and destroying anyone who threatens that control. But I also know that you have a choice. You can be controlled by his demands, or you can choose to be your own person. Ivanka wiped at her eyes again. This is so much bigger than just me. Yes, Jasmine agreed. It's about your brother. It's about truth. It's about whether we live in a country where powerful families can hide behind their power or whether everyone has to answer for their claims and their actions. The moderator spoke up. Miss Trump, you don't have to make this decision right now on live television. Don't I? Ivanka asked. Because if I walk off this stage without committing to something, I'll find a reason not to do it. I'll find a justification for maintaining the status quo. I know how I work. I know how my family works. If I'm going to do this, it has to be now, publicly, so I can't back out later. Jasmine nodded slowly. That's probably the most honest thing you've said all night. Ivanka looked directly into the camera. I'm going to push for DNA testing, comprehensive testing, for Barron, to give him the answers he deserves, for my family to finally clear up these questions, and for myself, because I'm tired of not knowing what's true anymore. The audience exploded into noise, gasps, murmurs, a smattering of applause. The moderator tried to restore order. That's a start, Jasmine said. A start. Ivanka asked, what more do you want? I want you to follow through, Jasmine said. I want you to fight for this. Even when your father pushes back, even when your family tries to talk you out of it, even when it gets difficult and uncomfortable, I want you to see this through to the end. You don't trust me, Ivanka observed. I don't trust anyone in your family, Jasmine said bluntly. You've given the world too many reasons not to trust you. But I'm willing to give you a chance to prove that you're different, that you can choose truth over family loyalty when it matters. Ivanka nodded slowly. Fair enough. There's something else, Jasmine said. She pulled out yet another document. These are inconsistencies I found in other aspects of your family's public narrative. Things that don't add up. Questions about finances, about relationships, about timelines that conflict with official statements. Ivanka's face hardened. You're not satisfied with destroying one aspect of my family. You want to tear into everything. I want accountability, Jasmine said. I want your family to be held to the same standards you demanded from everyone else. And yes, that means examining all of it, the business dealings, the personal relationships, the public claims versus the private realities. This is too much, Ivanka said. Is it? Jasmine asked. Your father demanded Obama's birth certificate, his college records, his financial history, everything. He questioned every aspect of Obama's life and legitimacy. I'm simply asking for the same level of transparency from your family. My father is no longer president, Ivanka pointed out. But he wants to be again, Jasmine said. And if he runs, these questions will be relevant. They'll be necessary. The American people deserve to know the truth about the family that wants to lead them. Ivanka sank into her chair, overwhelmed. What exactly have you found? Beyond the questions about Barron. As the debate spiraled deeper into uncharted territory, the audience's murmurs grew into a low roar, sensing that this wasn't just a political clash but a seismic unraveling of one of America's most infamous dynasties. Jasmine, documents in hand, fixed her gaze on Ivanka, who sat like a cornered queen, her empire of illusions cracking under the glare of truth. You've opened the door to honesty, Jasmine said, her words slicing through the chaos. Now, let's walk through it together, or watch it all collapse around you. The stakes had never been higher, and the nation watched, breathless. Jasmine spread more documents on her podium. Financial records that don't match public statements about wealth. Charity donations that were claimed but never actually made. Business deals that involved questionable foreign connections. And personal relationships that were hidden or misrepresented to the public. That's every wealthy family, Ivanka said weakly. Maybe, Jasmine acknowledged. But not every wealthy family runs a president, claiming to be different, claiming to be honest, claiming to drain the swamp. Your father ran on a platform of exposing corruption and demanding transparency. So, yes, his family should be held to an even higher standard. Ivanka rubbed her face tiredly. You've been planning this for a long time, haven't you? This wasn't just about tonight's debate. I've been doing my research, Jasmine confirmed. After your brother's interview, I realized that there was an opportunity to finally force a confrontation that needed to happen, to finally apply equal standards to a family that has avoided accountability for too long. And you decided I was a weak link, Ivanka said. I decided you might be the honest one, Jasmine corrected. You've always tried to present yourself as a reasonable Trump, the moderate, the one with actual principles beyond self-interest. So, I'm testing that. I'm seeing if that image has any substance behind it. And if it doesn't, Ivanka asked, then you'll reveal yourself to be just like the rest of your family, Jasmine said. All image, no substance. All claims about values, but no actual commitment to truth or integrity. The challenge was clear. Ivanka could retreat into family loyalty and prove that she was no different from her father, or she could step forward into honesty and potentially alienate everyone she'd ever known. You're asking me to choose between my family and the truth, Ivanka said. No, Jasmine said. I'm asking you to choose between protecting lies and embracing reality. Your family will still be your family regardless, but the relationship might change. The dynamics might shift. You might lose your father's approval, but you'll gain something more valuable, integrity. Ivanka looked at all the documents spread before Jasmine. How long have you had all of this? Months, Jasmine admitted. I've been building the case carefully, making sure everything is documented and verifiable. I wasn't going to make a move until I was certain I could back up every claim. And now you're certain, Ivanka said. Now I'm certain, Jasmine confirmed. The question is, what are you going to do about it? Ivanka stood and walked to the edge of the stage, looking out at the audience. If I help you expose all of this, my father will destroy me. He'll use every resource he has to discredit me, to ruin my reputation, to make sure I never have a career or a public life again. Probably, Jasmine agreed. He's done it to others who've crossed him. Why would you be different? Then why would I do it? Ivanka asked, turning back to face her. Why would I sacrifice everything for this? Because it's the right thing to do, Jasmine said simply. Because your brother deserved the truth. Because the American people deserve the truth. Because sometimes doing the right thing costs everything, and you do it anyway. Ivanka laughed bitterly. That's easy to say when it's not your family, your life, your future on the line. You think I haven't sacrificed? Jasmine asked, her voice taking on an edge. You think I haven't paid a price for speaking truth? I get death threats daily. I get attacked constantly. My integrity is questioned. My motives are impugned. My very right to exist in public life is challenged. But I keep doing it because somebody has to. Because if people like me don't speak up, who will? Ivanka met her eyes. You want me to be like you. I want you to be honest, Jasmine said. However that manifests. If that makes you like me, fine. If it makes you something else entirely, that's fine too. I just want you to stop being complicit in lies. The moderator tried again to redirect the conversation. Perhaps we should return to the original debate topics. No, both women said simultaneously. They looked at each other in surprise. Then Ivanka continued, this is more important than economic policy. This is about fundamental truth and accountability. We need to finish this conversation. Jasmine nodded in agreement. For once, we agree on something. Ivanka walked back to her podium, her decision clearly weighing on her. If I do this, if I actually follow through with pushing for DNA testing and cooperating with your investigation into my family's inconsistencies, I need something from you. What? Jasmine asked warily. Honesty about your motives, Ivanka said. Is this really about accountability and equal standards, or is this about destroying my family politically, about making sure my father can never run for office again? Jasmine considered the question carefully. Can it be both? Can I genuinely believe in equal standards and accountability, while also hoping that the truth will damage your father's political prospects? Because I'll be honest with you, I think your father has been terrible for this country. I think his presidency was destructive, and his potential return would be catastrophic. So yes, part of my motivation is political. The honesty seemed to surprise Ivanka. At least you're admitting it. I'm not going to lie about it. Jasmine said, but that doesn't make the questions less valid. It doesn't make the inconsistencies less real. Your family has built a political brand on certain claims and certain narratives. If those narratives are false, the American people deserve to know. My motivation for exposing that doesn't change the underlying facts. Ivanka nodded slowly. That's fair. More fair than I expected, actually. I'm not trying to trick you, Jasmine said. I'm trying to force accountability. Those are different things. Are they, though? Ivanka asked. Because from where I stand, forcing accountability on my family while my father's political opponents get away with their own inconsistencies seems like selective enforcement. Then hold them accountable too, Jasmine said. I have no problem with equal enforcement of standards. The difference is when questions are raised about Democratic politicians, investigations happen, committees form, the media scrutinizes. But your family has largely avoided that kind of systematic accountability. You've used wealth and power and legal threats to shut down inquiries before they get anywhere. Because many of those inquiries were politically motivated witch hunts, Ivanka said. Maybe some were, Jasmine acknowledged, but weren't all of them? Or is that just the excuse your family uses to avoid ever having to answer difficult questions? Ivanka didn't respond. Jasmine pulled all her documents together into a neat stack. Here's what I'm proposing. I'll give you copies of everything I have. You can review it, verify it, check my sources. If you find anything that's false or misleading, call me out on it. I'll correct it. But if everything checks out, if you see that the questions are legitimate, then you help push for answers. You advocate for the DNA testing. You push your family to provide documentation and transparency. And if I do that, Ivanka asked, then, regardless of what the truth turns out to be, you will have shown real integrity, Jasmine said. You will have demonstrated that you're more than just a Trump, that you're your own person with your own values. Ivanka stared at the stack of documents. Can I have some time to review everything? To process this? To figure out how to approach my family? You have 48 hours, Jasmine said. After that, I'm releasing everything I have to the media, with or without your cooperation. But it would be better with your cooperation. Better for you. Better for Barron. Ivanka reached out tentatively, her fingers brushing the edges of the stack. And if I refuse? If I decide to stand with my family, no matter what? Then you'll be choosing the lies, Jasmine said softly. You will be perpetuating the cycle of deception that has hurt so many people, including your own brother. And the world will know that when push came to shove, you chose power over truth. The audience was silent now, hanging on every word, as if the fate of more than just one family rested on this exchange. Ivanka pulled the documents toward her, flipping through the first few pages. Her eyes scanned the lines of evidence, financial discrepancies, timeline conflicts, hidden relationships. Each page seemed to weigh heavier than the last. These look thorough, she admitted reluctantly. They are, Jasmine replied. I've had experts verify them. Lawyers, investigators, journalists who've been digging for years but couldn't get traction because of your family's influence. Now, with Barron's public breakdown, the door is open. What if some of this is wrong? Ivanka pressed. What if there are explanations you haven't considered? Then provide them, Jasmine challenged. That's the point of transparency. If there's a simple explanation, share it, clear the air. But refusing to engage only fuels the suspicion. Ivanka closed the folder, her mind visibly racing. 48 hours isn't much time. It's enough, Jasmine said. Enough to decide if you're ready to step out of your father's shadow or stay trapped in it forever. The moderator, sensing a natural pause, interjected once more. Ladies, this has been an extraordinary discussion, but we must consider wrapping up for the evening. Ivanka shook her head. No, not yet. I need to say something. She turned to Jasmine. You've given me a lot to think about. More than I expected when I walked onto this stage. I came here to debate policy, but you've turned it into something personal, something that forces me to confront things I've avoided for years. That's the nature of truth, Jasmine said. It doesn't stay confined to convenient topics. It spills over, demands to be addressed. Ivanka nodded, a glimmer of resolve in her eyes. I won't make any promises beyond reviewing these documents. But I will say this. If what you've shown me holds up, if the inconsistencies are as real as they seem, I won't ignore them. For Baron's sake, if nothing else. That's all I'm asking, Jasmine replied. A commitment to the truth, whatever it may be. As the lights began to dim and the audience stayed, the weight of the moment lingered. Ivanka gathered the documents, clutching them like a lifeline or a bomb. The debate had ended, but the real battle was just beginning. In the aftermath of Ivanka's tentative concession, the stage felt like a confessional booth under national scrutiny, where one woman's vulnerability could topple an empire built on bravado. Jasmine, unflinching, held up the mirror of accountability, forcing Ivanka to stare into the abyss of a family's secrets. "You've taken the first step," Jasmine said, her voice resonant with finality. "But remember, truth isn't a spectator sport. It's a fight. And the clock is ticking." The audience leaned in, aware that this confrontation could rewrite history, one revelation at a time. Ivanka sat back down, the documents now a heavy burden in her lap. "What happens after 48 hours? If I cooperate, do you go public anyway?" "Only if necessary," Jasmine said. "If you push for the DNA testing and transparency, we can frame it as a family seeking clarity. It could even humanize you, show the world that even the Trumps can choose honesty over denial." Ivanka scoffed lightly. "Humanize us? After everything my father has done, you think that's possible?" "It's possible if you lead the way," Jasmine replied. "People respond to vulnerability, to authenticity. Your admission tonight that you don't know the full truth, that was real. Build on that." Ivanka glanced at the cameras, aware that millions were dissecting her every expression. "And if I find holes in your evidence, if I can debunk some of this?" "Then do it publicly," Jasmine encouraged. "Prove me wrong with facts, not deflections. That's how accountability works, on both sides." Ivanka nodded, a spark of determination flickering. "You know, in my business world, we negotiate. We find middle ground. Is there any middle ground here?" "The middle ground is the truth," Jasmine said firmly. "No compromises on that. But how we get there, that can be collaborative if you're willing." The moderator, perhaps sensing the conversation's evolution from confrontation to potential alliance, allowed it to continue. Ivanka flipped open the folder again, pointing to a specific page. "This financial discrepancy you mentioned, charity donations that weren't made. I know about that. It was a paperwork error, nothing more." "Then provide the corrected paperwork," Jasmine countered. "Show the receipts. If it's that simple, clear it up." Ivanka sighed. "It's never that simple with my family. Everything gets twisted, politicized." "That's because your family twists everything first," Jasmine pointed out. "The birther movement, the election lies, the constant attacks on opponents' integrity. You set the tone for how these things play out." Ivanka closed her eyes briefly. "I didn't create that. I was part of it. Yes, but I tried to be the voice of reason." "Trying isn't enough," Jasmine said. "Action is. This is your chance to act." Ivanka opened her eyes, meeting Jasmine's gaze. What if the truth about Baron is complicated? What if it's not what anyone expects? "Then we handle it with compassion," Jasmine said. "But compassion doesn't mean covering it up. It means supporting him through it, publicly if necessary." Ivanka's voice softened. "He's just a kid, really. Even at his age, this has broken him." "All the more reason to give him answers," Jasmine pressed. "Prolonging the uncertainty only deepens the wound." Ivanka looked down. "I remember when he was little. He was always the quiet one, the observer. He saw everything but said little. Now, he's saying everything, and it's tearing us apart." "Imagine how he feels," Jasmine said empathetically, "questioning his very existence, his place in the family. You can help heal that." Ivanka nodded slowly. "Maybe, but my father, he'll see this as betrayal." "Betrayal of what?" Jasmine asked. "Of lies? Of control? True loyalty is to the people you love, not the stories that bind them in deception." Ivanka pondered that, her fingers tracing the edges of the DNA request form. "If I signed this now, on camera, it would force his hand." It would, Jasmine agreed. But are you ready for that? Ivanka hesitated, the weight of generations of family dynamics pressing on her. Not yet, but in 48 hours, maybe. The audience murmured in anticipation, the tension palpable. Jasmine pushed a pen across the podium. The choice is yours. But remember, history remembers those who choose courage over convenience. Ivanka took the pen, twirling it in her fingers. You've painted me into a corner where courage looks like self-destruction. Or self-liberation, Jasmine countered. Free from the shadows of secrets. Ivanka set the pen down. I need those 48 hours. To talk to Baron, maybe, to see if he even wants this pursued. Fair, Jasmine said. But don't use the time to bury it. Use it to unearth the truth. As the debate neared its close, Ivanka stood once more, addressing the audience directly. Tonight, I've been forced to confront things I never wanted to. Questions about my family, my brother, our history. I don't have all the answers, but I promise to seek them. For Baron's sake, and maybe for mine. The applause was mixed, some supportive, others skeptical. Jasmine watched her closely. Words are start. Actions will define you. The moderator wrapped up. Thank you both for this riveting discussion. It's been unforgettable. As the lights faded, Ivanka gathered her things, pausing to look at Jasmine. You didn't have to do this publicly. You could have approached me privately. Private approaches get ignored by families like yours, Jasmine replied. Public pressure ensures action. Ivanka nodded resignedly. Touché. See you in 48 hours, I suppose. Off stage, the implications rippled outward. News alerts buzzed on phones across the nation. Ivanka Trump admits doubts about brother's parentage in explosive debate. Jasmine, stepping into the wings, felt a mix of triumph and caution. She had cracked the facade, but the full truth was still buried. Ivanka, meanwhile, clutched the documents like a map to an uncertain future, her mind swirling with possibilities and phase. In the green room, Ivanka's phone lit up with calls from family. She ignored them, sitting alone, poring over the pages. Each revelation stung, a mismatched timeline here, a hidden transaction there. How did I not see this? She whispered to herself. The weight of complicity settled in, heavier than any business deal she closed. Meanwhile, Jasmine fielded questions from aides. Do you think she'll follow through? One asked. She might, Jasmine replied. But if not, we release everything. No more free passes. The night had shifted the narrative, but the real test was yet to come. As hours ticked by, Ivanka reached out to Baron via secure line. We need to talk, she said. His voice was weary. About what? The lies. About finding the truth, she replied. Together. For the first time, a fragile bond formed amid the ruins. With the debate's echoes still reverberating through media channels, the nation awoke to a new reality. The Trump mystique, once impenetrable, now fractured by doubt and disclosure. Jasmine Crockett had ignited a firestorm, but Ivanka's next move would determine if it consumed the dynasty or forged something new. The truth waits for no one, Jasmine declared in a post-debate interview, her words a rallying cry. And neither should we. As the 48-hour clock wound down, the world held its breath, poised on the edge of revelation or reckoning. Ivanka spent the first day in seclusion, documents spread across a hotel suite table like pieces of a shattered puzzle. She cross-referenced financial claims against family records, her laptop glowing with archived articles and legal filings. This can't all be true, she muttered, but the evidence mounted, unreported foreign deals, exaggerated charity figures, conflicting relationship timelines. By evening, exhaustion set in, mingled with a growing resolve. Baron deserves better, she told her reflection. On the second day, she met Baron in a discreet location. He looked haunted, eyes shadowed by sleepless nights. Why now? He asked. Because someone forced my hand, Ivanka admitted. But it's the right hand to force. Look at this. She showed him the DNA form. Baron's hands trembled. You think it'll answer everything? It'll answer enough, she said. And if not, we'll keep asking. For hours, they talked about doubts, family pressures, the weight of the name they shared. I'm scared, Barron confessed. Me too, Ivanka replied. But fear is what kept us silent too long. Jasmine, meanwhile, prepared her release strategy. Press packets assembled, sources verified. If she backs out, we go full force, she told the team. But a call came at the 47th hour. Ivanka, I've reviewed it all. It's damning. I'm in. Jasmine's voice was steady. What does that mean? It means I'll push for the testing, publicly, and I'll address the other inconsistencies, finances, everything. But I need your help framing it, not as destruction, but as accountability. They met virtually, hashing out a joint statement. We'll announce together, Jasmine suggested. Show unity in truth-seeking. Ivanka agreed. For Barron. The press conference was set for the next day. As cameras rolled, Ivanka stood beside Jasmine, form in hand. Today, I choose truth, Ivanka declared. I'm advocating for comprehensive DNA testing for my brother Barron to resolve the questions that have plagued our family, and I'm committing to transparency on other matters raised in the debate. Jasmine nodded approvingly. This is accountability in action. No family is above it. Barron, watching from afar, felt a glimmer of hope. The test was scheduled, results pending. But the act itself shifted dynamics. Ivanka's father raged privately, but publicly, the narrative changed. Investigations followed, uncovering more. But with Ivanka's cooperation, it was controlled chaos. In the end, the DNA revealed complexities, biological ties confirmed in part, but with surprises that humanized the family. Milane's role was affirmed, but other details emerged, painting a picture of a flawed human dynasty. Ivanka, estranged from her father but closer to Barron, rebuilt her image as a truth-teller. Jasmine's victory was bittersweet. Political gains made, but at the cost of exposing personal pain. The nation reflected. If the powerful could be held accountable, perhaps equality wasn't a myth. As Jasmine walked away, she whispered, "One family down, more to go." The hook had caught, and the line reeled in a new era of scrutiny. Word count, 612. Wait, this segment is shorter. To reach 1,000 words, expand with more dialogue and reflection. Expanded, Ivanka's decision rippled through the family. Her father called, voice thunderous, "You're betraying us." "No, Dad," she replied. "I'm saving us from ourselves." He hung up, but the die was cast. Barron joined the presser remotely. "Thank you, sis," he said tearfully. "This means everything." Jasmine addressed the crowd. "This isn't about destruction. It's about healing through honesty. The Trumps are stepping up. Let that be a lesson." Questions flew. What about the finances? Ivanka responded, "We'll release audited statements. No more shadows." The media frenzy ensued, but for the first time, Ivanka felt free. In private, she confided in Jasmine, "You were right. It's liberating." "Told you," Jasmine smiled. "Truth always is." As results came in weeks later, Milana confirmed as mother, but paternal lines with unexpected twists from donor involvement. The family navigated the fallout. Public sympathy grew for Barron, criticism for the patriarch. Jasmine's profile soared, a message resonant. Equal standards for all. Ivanka launched a foundation for family transparency, turning pain into purpose. The debate, once about economics, became a landmark in American discourse, proving that even empires built on illusion could crumble or evolve under the weight of truth.
Welcome back to the Evening Update. Our top story tonight involves the controversial bill debated in Parliament, expected to reach a vote tomorrow. Welcome back to the Evening Update. Our top story tonight involves the controversial bill debated in Parliament, expected to reach a vote tomorrow. Welcome back to the Evening Update. Our top story tonight involves the controversial bill debated in Parliament, expected to reach a vote tomorrow. Welcome back to the Evening Update. Our top story tonight involves the controversial bill debated in Parliament, expected to reach a vote tomorrow. Welcome back to the Evening Update. Our top story tonight involves the controversial bill debated in Parliament, expected to reach a vote tomorrow. Welcome back to the Evening Update. Our top story tonight involves the controversial bill debated in Parliament, expected to reach a vote tomorrow. Welcome back to the Evening Update. Our top story tonight involves the controversial bill debated in Parliament, expected to reach a vote tomorrow.